What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Dermy Wormy, and we got some interesting news going on because just the other day, about Tuesday, we had Marvel's Echo drop on both Hulu and on Disney Plus. And the reality is, this is a show that has been pumped up to be primarily just fully focused on identity politics and womanhood. Okay, that was what it was being promised the whole time, but they wanted to go around and try to say, oh my god, it's gonna be super buff, super MA, everything like that. That was something, but behind the scenes you had everybody talking about how representation was extremely important to them, so much so that the actual actress that does Echo has literally no credits besides Echo, because she was outright a box check that was needed to be Native American, missing a leg, and deaf. Those are the three categories that needed to be filled, and this was the only person they could find to actually fill it. But this, to continue on, this was a show that was promised to also change her powers from formerly being something more akin to Taskmaster, being able to mimic and copy other people's abilities, more physical traits, not actual like superpowers, but you know, being able to copy them on that. You know, you had I already brought this one up, but representation being super important to everything throughout the entirety of the show. You had interviews come out in which you had basically everybody saying how they were basically checking a box the entire time.
I think so many people feel like this project might be checking boxes in some way, but it's a great story first and foremost that happens to center around an Indigenous Choctaw community. And
trust me, center around an Indigenous Choctaw community. I can't even say that word. And then one of the things they learned from the show is being hearing and privilege.
And about myself portraying this was that I have a lot of hearing privilege.
Yeah. This was the stuff that was going around, you know, focusing in on the identity, focusing in on all these aspects. You had this clip going around trying to get people more and more hyped for it, saying, oh my god, it's so good, but in reality it was the slowest, most boring dance fight you've ever seen. Well, it's hit theaters, and well, not screens, and well, Marvel's Echo, the second worst reviewed MCU TV show, and media shills go all out trying to salvage it. Yes, you actually have Forbes come out saying that it is one of the worst reviewed shows ever. Over on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's all up and down. For the most part, yes, audiences are liking it, but you gotta be fair here. Audiences on this one are going to be few and far between. Even though right now, yes, it is sitting at about, I think it's a 67 with audience scores itself. When you have a smaller amount of audiences coming in to actually talk about this stuff, you're going to have people not wanting to review it a little bit differently. That's some ongoing trend we've actually been seeing in regards to Marvel. But on top of that, yes, they are coming out here trying to pump it up. But on top of that, it is also one of the most girl boss shows ever. I kid you not. This article doesn't go into a whole lot of it, but I'm just gonna tell you some of the things that actually happened in the show. Marvel's Echo dropped on Disney Plus, and show once again MCU creators have zero respect for their fans with maximum girl boss. Yes, this is an outright identity based show. There's no joke. Kidding aside, there is no joke about it. It is fully about identity and identity politics. So much so, okay, that she actually says Queen Pin. You scroll down here. First episode of Disney Plus show follows a similar script without any of the character ties to Matt Murdock and Daredevil that made for a tug of the heartstrings. Instead, they make Maya Lopez a big virtue signal about Native Americans living in Oklahoma, have her have a generic lost her mommy and blames herself backstory before sending her to New York to show how she is better than every man Kingpin has at fighting, even better than Daredevil, before she decides to become Queen Pin herself. And that's an actual line in the show saying Queen Pin. There's another line saying how she should be queen. And remember, I said that they were going to be changing her powers and everything. They already said, hey, they were going to have her powers be based off her ancestors. She can call upon her ancestors and whatnot. Well, we come over here to this little screen grab from Nerdrotic. Shout out to Nerdrotic, by the way. Turns out her superpowers are that she can overtly look back in her past, become essentially, she comes from a long line of girl bosses. She can go back into her past and see other girl bosses from the past have their powers and be able to do everything they were able to do. And then on top of that, she can echo out her powers and give it to all the other women around her, all the other members of her family. This is one of the most girl boss shows I have ever heard about. I have ever even seen, and I haven't even watched it yet. I now want to watch this because it sounds so cringe, but you also have to realize that another aspect to the show is the actual fact that she's deaf, she's Native American, she's this, she's that, she's all these check boxes, she's these perfect check boxes. And another thing the show is actually getting panned for is the fact that it's so slow. You have individuals talking at like this speed as they are signing. You have to actually read it because obviously the actress can't speak because she's deaf, so she has to sign the whole time. It's slow, it's methodical, not even methodical, it's boring, it takes forever, and then it's filled with identity politics and virtue signaling moments. This is not makeup for a good show. Yes, right now it's getting reviewed relatively well on Rotten Tomatoes, but at the same time, we don't know what these how many people are actually going to be viewing this, how many people are going to be engaging this, and on top of this, it was all put out within a mega lump sum dump to the binge model on 2 different platforms, so nobody's going to be talking about the show after about 2, maybe 3 weeks from now. This is already a dead show. Nobody's going to be engaging with it, and it's going to be forgotten in the wind as one of the most wokest of woke shows that have ever existed in the MCU. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get your guys' thoughts on all of this down in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it out, friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.